Today we're going to talk about last week's sales and how everything went. But before we get into that, we're going to talk a little bit, or I say we. I'm talking I'm talking to a camera, but I'm going to be talking about YouTube and how that kind of plays a part in my overall business strategy. Last week I published a video talking about my goals, which I've got hanging right up here from my shelving. But talk a little bit about YouTube and how that ties in. Obviously, there's some part of it there where you're watching a YouTube video, I'm making a YouTube video, but yeah, so we'll talk about that a little bit. But if this is your first time here, my name's Brian. I'm a reseller. I sell on eBay. I sell in the everything category, so I sell everything from pots and pans to tools and clothes. There's items with profit, I'm probably trying to sell them on eBay. But you'll get a good representation of that as we go through the best and worst sales from last week here in just a little bit. But yeah, so let's get into it. Let's talk about YouTube a little bit, and I'm not going to get into it before I say thank you, heartfelt thank you to everybody who's been watching these videos. This past Saturday evening, the channel crossed over 1,000 subscribers, which for a lot of YouTube people is just, I mean, myself included, is a huge milestone to get to. And it's so humbling, and it's crazy. So I sincerely appreciate everybody who's been watching the videos and subscribed and keeps coming back to watch new videos. It's just amazing. And if you're not subscribed, that's okay too. You just like watching every once in a while, totally cool. But it's awesome. So it's yeah. So let's get into talking about YouTube and how that plays a part in my overall business strategy. So for anybody who doesn't know, there's a point at which, and 1,000 subscribers on a channel is one of those kind of like milestones that they have set to get monetized on YouTube. And before everybody thinks, oh my gosh, he's going to start raking in the cash. I don't know if anybody thinks that, but it's not really the way it works. So monetize just means that for the ads that they put on my videos, that means I will get a portion of the income that YouTube is getting. They're sharing that with me. I'm not going out soliciting advertisers and saying, you guys need to pay me a bunch of money to be on this and that kind of stuff. YouTube already plays ads. That's what they call this is their partner program. They're playing the ads already. Once you get to a certain channel size, they let you share in the revenue from the advertisements that the advertisers are paying YouTube to be there. So that's the way that works. So there's two things they have set up. So they have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 public watch hours. And there's some differences in the way they calculate that versus what a creator would see in their analytics, but that's just way down in the minutia. But just right on the edge of 4,000 hours, so just about to get there. And that's over a 365-day period, a 1-year period, an accumulation of 4,000 hours, which whenever I started out, I started on YouTube really about 4 or 5 years ago. I have a small channel that I did that I have where I was fishing, pond fishing, stuff like that. Did some challenges with my boys and did some solo trips and all that kind of stuff. That's when I started learning about how YouTube really worked, and kind of found my, I don't know if it's a love, but a real enjoyment of making and editing and producing videos. While not super high quality, it's a lot of fun just to put out that end product and go, wow, that's just, I didn't know I could do that. But it is a lot of fun. And to me, 4,000 hours, I'm like, who in the 4,000 hours? That is insane. Like, that's so much. And right now, like this channel is getting on average about 1,000 hours a month ish, something like that. So it's not as crazy as I thought it was, but just right on the edge of getting the 4,000 hours we need for the monetization. So anyhow, it's not going to be some massive amount of money. I really don't know how much it's going to be, because they give you different amounts of revenue depending on the type of content you're creating and the advertisers and all this kind of stuff. But this is not like me winning the lottery. It's just a little piece that's going to be a little bit of extra money that goes on top of my reselling income. I think everybody knows that once people get to a certain channel size, that happens, and most people do monetize. Not everybody. Most people do if they have the opportunity and they, make a little bit of money off of it. But I don't know. I don't know if everybody knows that, but I'm just saying that to be transparent. It's not some like scheme or scam or to make millions of dollars or anything like that. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. So it's something, yeah. So, and then there's the balance, right? So I'm balancing making videos just about each day during the week, and then a couple like shorts and then long form videos throughout the week, 2 to 3 per week, depending on my schedule. And I do it because I really like it, and there is an opportunity to make a little bit of money on it. So I'm like, well, if I can make money at something I like, why wouldn't I do that? But there is a balance of figuring out the scheduling, because there's editing is not on this, like this video particularly on Wednesdays, my Wednesday videos, I shoot them on a camera. It's a Osmo action camera. So but I upload all my video content and then go through and edit it, add the pictures and all that kind of stuff. So it takes a fair amount of time to do that. I just have to be mindful of my schedule to make sure everything fits where it needs to be, to get stuff published on somewhat of a regular schedule. So one thing about like YouTube specifically around reselling, on the fishing part, I was watching a bunch of fishing channels, and it was just a lot of fun. There was not much editing there. I cut out some of the boring parts, but it was a lot of fun. But whenever I started doing, I wanted to start a YouTube reselling channel, because I had a lot of help. Whenever I started reselling, doing YouTube wasn't part of the equation, but I watched so much content. I learned so much from people early on. Rally Roots was the beginning for me. I don't even know how I came across them. I can't remember. It showed up one day. I watched some videos, and that's when I was like, I think I should start selling some clothes on the side. And I did. And it just really grew from there. It grew really fast from clothes to everything. Because clothes to me got a little bit boring, so I started mixing in other stuff, and then it went pretty much full everything with just a hint of clothing. Now I'm kind of working that back, but I've learned so much from so many different people, and deep down inside, what I like to do is help people. My past recent career, I had teams of people that worked for me in different aspects of the business, and anytime I got a new boss, they'd say, what drives you? And I said, well, it's to help other people be successful. And the most obvious way I was doing that recently was I was a sales manager, and I had people who had, bonuses to hit. And my job was to take out any obstacle out of their way so that they could sell what they needed to sell to get to their bonus. They all had families to feed and, take care of. So, and that's just what I like to do. My biggest sense of accomplishment, what makes me feel the best, is when somebody else is able to take something that I helped with and they're successful with that. And I don't have an ego about it. I take pride. I don't know if I take pride in it. It makes me really happy when somebody else succeeds, and I know I get to help with that. I'm like, man, that was so cool. So I'm definitely not an egotistical person. I'm not walking around going, oh yeah, I helped them. I did that. That's not the way. It's not in my nature to have an ego about things. I don't remember when it was exactly that I realized that, you know, everybody has certain abilities to do things. Somebody has different abilities to do things. People are all going through different stuff in their lives, and some of it's great, some of it's not great. It's just, everyone's just really trying to do the best they can most of the time. So I'm not, I don't walk around with a puffed out chest trying to act like I know what the heck I'm doing, because I'm still learning stuff all the stinking time in reselling and in life. So it just, yeah. But yeah, so many people have helped me through my reselling journey that any chance I get, I'm trying to give back whatever I can. And yeah, that's really it. And there's a great community of people. There's a ton of people that I guess I'll say support, because the comments are tremendous. The digital relationships are great. There's a lot of great people that comment, and I've really enjoyed, going back and forth with. And then there's some people, like there's a guy, I think yesterday, his comment was, "You suck. That's the reason there's $45 DVDs at Goodwill." And the video was about golf clubs at a garage sale. And I was like, maybe he's talking about what, I don't know. But that was his comment. "You suck. That's why there's $45 DVDs at Goodwill." And to which, some people would just get like super bent out of shape about that. And I read that, and the first thing I think is, I'm like, what's going on in that guy's life? That's the comment he wants to leave on a YouTube video. And some people would probably just fire back and go, "I don't," and this and that. And I said, you know what? If there is a strawberry cheesecake shake within arm's reach, then yes, I do suck. But if you want a good deal on DVDs, you should also try garage sales, where you can usually find them 2 for $1, including Blu-rays. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Oh man, kill them with kindness. It just, you can't argue your way out of somebody else's opinion, especially when you're online. Like, everybody that's typing an opinion online has the high ground, whether they do or not. In their mind, they do. So it's just, you can't win. There's just no point. Oh man. In any case, that's really it. I was just going to talk a little bit about YouTube and kind of where we're at. And again, everybody that watches, everybody that subscribed, just my heartfelt thanks, and for the support, and just spending any amount of time listening to what I have to say is just, it's humbling, shocking. I really appreciate it. I really do. Let's talk about sales. That's why most people are here, is they want to know what the heck sold. Did Brian lose any money on anything this week? If you haven't seen these videos before, I go through my 5 worst sales from the prior week first, just to kind of maybe demystify the fact that resellers are making piles of money. There's bad decisions made all the time. I certainly make them. I don't think I'm the only one out there that makes bad decisions from time to time. And some of them will haunt you for a long time. Like the worst sale that's on today's video is something that keeps haunting me from about 8 months ago. But and we'll get into that. Before we jump into the worst and best sales, let's look at the total numbers from last week. So there were 27 items sold last week, which is up from prior week, which is good. Total sales of $927.18, which is also up. That's inclusive of item sales and shipping revenue. And then whenever you do shipping expense, ad fees, and all that kind of stuff, pre-tax profit of $407.26 for a 44% profit margin for the week, which is my goal. So I have my goal at a 45% profit margin, and I'm just so close, 44%, that I don't feel bad about that. 14 of the 27 items came from thrift stores, primarily Goodwill, but that's a 52% of the items sold came from thrift stores. 11 of the items, or 41%, were came from a promoted listing. That's less than usual. Usually I'm at 60 to 70%, right in there. So that's okay with me. I sold 16 of the items on an offer, So 16 of the 27 were sold on an offer, which is 57% of the item sales. I did not do a store sale this past weekend. If I'm being completely honest, I forgot to do it. We had our national or state speech and debate tournament was last Thursday through Saturday, and I was on and off campus. I was helping judge rounds, and I just completely forgot about it. There was a lot going on. There was some other stuff going on too, but there's a lot going on, and I just completely forgot about it. So I didn't run any sales. I made offers, and still came away, pretty good overall for the week. So we're going to talk about the 5 worst sales, then we're going to jump into the 5 best sales and talk about all the details. So, spoiler alert, I lost money on an item this week. The worst item that sold this week, or this past week, I did lose money on it. I don't care about losing the money. I mean, it stinks, but in the end of the day, I am getting some cash back in my pocket to reinvest in new inventory, and that's the goal, is to keep the cash turning. So let's talk about the 5 worst sales of the week. Coming in at number 5 is this The Office coffee mug. This is a licensed product. I picked it up at my local Goodwill for $3.30 and got it sent out the door for $12.89 plus shipping for a pre-tax profit of $5.76 or 26% profit margin. Stinks because when I was making my notes, I went back through and I saw the buyer's note. It said, please ship this anyway except for USPS. They have horrible service here. Man, I did not see the buyer's note. Didn't see it. I don't know if it's because it was on my phone, because I shipped from my phone, but I didn't see it, and I did ship it USPS. So as soon as I saw the note, I stopped what I was doing, went back, messaged the buyer. I said, hey, I'm really sorry. I did not see your note. I don't know why, but I didn't see it, or I would have switched the service. And even if it cost me a little bit of money, I understand that I didn't have different shipping options, but I didn't see the note, and I hope it gets there intact. And he's like, yeah, it's okay. He's like, I'm just hoping it gets here in one piece. We have not great service. He said he doesn't have a lot of faith in their USPS, so keeping my fingers crossed. I'm going to watch that one, and whenever it gets delivered, I'm going to message them and just make sure everything, was okay and they got the package okay. So we'll see about that. All right, coming in, the 4th worst sale of the week is this Harmonix. I think this is a PS2 or 3 guitar. It's the Fender Stratocaster, something like that guitar. I don't know a lot about these. I don't play video games. I just pick them up when they're cheap. And unfortunately, this one wasn't cheap enough. It was $4.65 at Goodwill. I thought I saw some sold comps. I think I must have been looking at some that were working because it's worth a lot more. But I ended up selling it for parts only. Sold it for $13.51 plus shipping. It was only a $3.83 pre-tax profit, 12% profit margin. So it's not something, if I picked it up for $1 at a garage sale, maybe, but even $1 into $13.51 for the amount of time it takes to ship those, still probably wouldn't do it. I'd need to get them if they're working, and I don't have a way to test them because I don't have all the equipment. So there's a good chance I'm just not going to pick up those guitars anymore. Very good chance that's not going to happen. Number 3, 3rd worst sale of the week is this Proto Wrench. I probably wouldn't pick these up again either. I bought them. I wasn't sure if I was going to keep them. I had 2 of them that were the same. This is the second one I've sold. But picked it up for $1 in an estate sale. Sold it for $5.51 plus shipping for a pre-tax profit of $3.17 or 31% profit margin. Proto's a pretty good brand for vintage tools. So I didn't look them up or anything, and I was thinking, probably get $10 for this wrench. Nah, it's not worth it. So it's okay. Now I know. Second worst sale of the week is this. This is a Hallmark. This is a reproduction piece. It's a pedal bike, and it's just a little toy display that people would get in the big, I guess people just display them. I don't know. If you like bikes, old bikes maybe, but I picked it up for $2 at an estate sale. The very first video I published on this channel was picking at this estate sale. Bought tons of stuff there, And I probably overpaid for a lot of it, including like these old kind of reproduction toys. I thought they'd be worth more. I wasn't comping a lot of stuff there, which was a big mistake. I've made money on the sale for sure, but not as much as I thought I was going to make. So, but bought it for $2, sold it for $7 plus shipping. I've had it listed for quite a while. So it's $2.41 pre-tax profit, or a 15% profit margin. So I did get some money, just not nearly what I thought I was going to get. I thought I was probably going to get 20 or 25 bucks for it, but once I comped it, I figured out that was not the case. There's a lot of these things floating around. And then the worst sale of the week that comes back to haunt me, and I still have more of them. Or it's this Disney. It's by Neff, N-E-F-F. Disney bucket hat with Mickey Mouse. It's a really cool graphic all over print on the hat, but I paid $14.20 for them at Ross. I think I was going to sell them for like 30 bucks, but not happening. So this is the third one I've sold in the past couple weeks. Sold it for $12.70 plus shipping, for a $3.57 pre-tax profit. No, negative $3.57 pre-tax profit, or a negative 20% profit margin. So I got some money back in my pocket. I'm going to go buy something else and try not to think about those bucket hats while I'm, I think I got 2 left now while I'm doing that. That's it. That's all the bad sales. And some of them weren't horrible. I mean, I still made money, but then you got the loser there at the end. So I'm just glad that it's gone. Now we can talk about the 5 best sales of the week. The stuff that some of it surprised me that it ended up in the top 5, like the 5th item. And then the rest of them kind of made sense to me. But coming in at the 5th best sale of the week is this Park Sherman phone address index. It's one of those pieces. It's a metal, it's got some weight to it. It's got a metal body, and then you slide the little selector back and forth on the alphabet till it hits the letter of the last name of the person you're looking for, and it pops open, and you have all the information written there on a card or paper, whatever is in there. I don't know, because it was new in the box. I didn't open it, just new in the box. I picked it up at an estate sale for 50 cents. It was on the dollar table and everything was half off. And I was like, this is kind of cool. It's new. I wonder if it's worth anything. And I was like, looks like people are selling these things. And I sold it pretty fast. Paid 50 cents, sold it for $28.89 plus shipping, for a pre-tax profit of $21.01, or a 57% profit margin. Kind of blew my mind a little bit that something that like that is still selling and for that much money. But I was happy to sell it. Number 4, 4th best sale of the week, is this Dixon flannel. This is the first piece I've ever found of Dixon. I found it in a local thrift store around here. I paid $8.31 for it. I did sell it on an offer for $39.91 plus shipping, for a $24.10 pre-tax profit, or 51% profit margin. Last week I was in the Goodwill right up the road here, and I was kind of in a hurry. I picked up a couple things, and I was checking out, and the guy in front of me had 2 Dixon flannels, brand new with tags. Brand new with tags. He got them in the men's aisle. I skipped clothing that day. He got them in the men's aisle, but they were women's. And I don't even know if he knew that. They look like he looked like he wore a men's large. It said they were a men's large. They were a women's large. And the reason you can tell, this is a men's coat. The buttons, the snaps are on the right. Whenever your buttons are on the right-hand side, that's men's. If it's on the left-hand side, that's women's. I know that's not 100% accurate. Sometimes there's women's stuff that has it on the right. But 99.5% of the time, women's buttons or the snap is on the left. All the buttons were on the left-hand side of the shirts. And I almost thought about pointing it out to him to say, do you know these are women's? Because he bought some other clothes, some pants, and some shoes that all looked like they were for him. Like he was buying a wardrobe. But then I was like, I didn't say anything. So I'm like, maybe he knows, and maybe he tried them on. A lot of people just stand in front of the mirrors at Goodwill in the end of the aisle, and they're trying stuff on. But yeah, was just like shaking my head. I was like, he's buying brand new with tags Dixon flannels for $629, $659 plus tax. He got a good deal. In any case, glad to sell that Dixon flannel. It was a really cool piece. The colors are really cool too. All right. The third best sale of the week is this J. Crew Chore Blazer. So I picked this up at Goodwill for $10.23. I did comp it at the store because it's a little bit much to pay for it. It was an outlet piece. It wasn't full J. Crew, and you can tell that. So there's a couple brands that do this. Polo, they put the three, or it's Banana Republic, I'm sorry. Puts like 3 little diamonds below the brand name, which signifies that's an outlet piece. J. Crew does 2 diamonds, but they do that on their outlet pieces. And then on the normal, like full retail stores, they don't have that on their tags at all. So it's an outlet piece, so I decided I'd comp it, and there was 1 or 2 that had sold, and I don't know that there were any listed. So I decided to pick it up, and yeah, it's a cool piece. It's an unstructured blazer, something you might wear with a pair of jeans, you know, fall time out and around town or something. Not something you wear to a fancy restaurant necessarily, where it's like coat and tie, not like that exactly. I guess you could, but that's not what it's intended for. So, yeah, picked it up. Sold it relatively fast, within a couple of weeks, for $42.89 plus shipping, full price, for a $25.26 pre-tax profit, or a 48% profit margin. Glad to see that one go. That was it was a big piece too. It was very substantial for a clothing piece. Number 2 shocked me a little bit. I bought this at a garage sale. There's a storage unit place up the road a ways, and they do garage sales twice a year where tenants of the units can come in, open up their units, it's all exterior, and just sell stuff right out of their unit. And people just walk around and with their carts, and it was a lot of fun, except for it was about 40 degrees and it was raining. So it was, that part wasn't that fun, but I found some cool stuff. And one of them was this little mini lathe. This is a Matt brand mini lathe that's used to like create really small or delicate type pieces out of either resin or wood. But I saw it had the case, all the parts, and I was like, I didn't know anything about it. Didn't know what it was. And I was like, this is probably worth something. And I snapped a picture of it and on Google Lens, and it's like, I couldn't find the exact thing. So I was like, I'm just going to get it. So I went in and picked it up, paid $3 for it, and found a buyer within, I don't know, 48 hours for $59.89 plus shipping. So that was a killer deal. I did get one of those, you know, nasty comments about how I'm scamming people on eBay on that one right there, because yeah, buying something that's only worth a couple bucks and then marking it up 2 or 3 times and making people pay more. And I'm like, man, if I had the influence on eBay to make people pay what I wanted them to pay, I still probably wouldn't do it. But I don't know who has that influence, but you just put a price, and most of the time, you know, if it's anything, it's the buyers are saying, hey, I'll pay less, and that's the way that goes. So it's, yeah, I didn't quite understand that. I put it the most respectful reply I could to it, explaining how I buy and sell things. But yeah, I don't understand that, how I'm scamming people by offering a price that they want to pay and then buying it. But so yeah, made $49.79 for a 70% pre-tax or profit margin. So that was a great one. And then the best sale of the week is this War Stick Bone Saber bat. This is I think it's a high school bat. I don't know. It's a 30-inch bat. I don't know if it's high school or youth, but it was an interesting name. I bought 3 bats that day at Goodwill, and I've looked at bats a ton because I see people making good money on bats on eBay. I've never found any that I thought were worth money, and I came across these 3, and a couple of them were worth pretty decent money, but this one I thought 50 to 100 bucks, something like that. And I really thought I'd probably, because of the condition, I'd be more on the $50 side. And when I looked it up, and I was like, no, I think, you know, I'm going to price it up. So I priced it at, I think I priced it at like 109. Priced it up a little bit. There was not that exact same one listed for that exact spec. It was a drop 10, which I honestly don't know what that means. I just know it's a thing in bats. And so there's all this stuff on the bat. It's a 30-inch, 20-ounce bat, drop 10. And so I put it up. Somebody sent me an offer after about a week and a half for $90. I paid $7.93 for it all in, and I accepted the offer. So $68.96 pre-tax profit, or a 66% profit margin. And I had the perfect box for it. It was one of the boxes my dad collected for me. He's got some long skinny boxes that some auto parts were in, and just cut the end off of it, folded it over, and dropped it off. So it was so easy to ship. So easy to ship a bat. That's for sure. That's it for today's video. I really appreciate you watching. If you have any comments or questions, please leave those down below and I'll make sure and get back to you. And until next time, have a great day.